Hey everyone, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, whichever it is, wherever you are when this video comes live. Uh,
Live.
Live, whatever it is.
It won't be live.
It's not live, whenever it comes out then, if you're smart ass. So yeah, anyway, welcome to yet another of our reviews. I, of course, am your host, Purple Midnight 8, joined, as ever for these, by Morgan, no, who am I kidding, by Amelia, aka the Obsidian Nook, Petals
You think
111.
Morgan's ever gonna come?
He's on the
Maybe,
channel. He's recording gameplay, but
maybe
he's
we
not.
should send a search party out. Like,
Yeah,
where's Morgan?
West Dumbass. So yeah, I'm here with Amelia. If you couldn't guess by me saying and/or hearing her voice.
We have no code. I thought
Silver Starsy's under the bed.
third code.
I think he's under the bed, but I don't know what he's doing. He might come up when he realizes that we're like talking. But we'll see. Either way, this week or today we're looking at Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City.
I thought it was.
She thought it was Renfield for about half the film and was like, "Where's Nicolas Cage?" And I'm like, "You idiot! No."
Because
So many zombies in this film about Dracula. What?
because you kept like talking about Renfield.
I was trying to decide on a film because we bought a bunch of
Because you
DVDs.
said that we're watching Renfield, and then like I'm sitting there thinking like,
Where's Nick? You're like, come on! It's been an hour of this film already. Where's Nicolas Cage?
my bad.
Yeah, clearly.
I sat there thinking this Renfield's a bit off.
Where are all the vampires? But yeah, we're doing this one because this one I found on DVD. In the future, we may do the originals. Yeah, when Silver passed, we sort of went, let's go get some movies to do. So we've got a couple of like ones that I'm genuinely looking forward to do. Yeah, I don't think we're regretting it per se, but yeah, we're already in debt enough. Why not increase it? Anyway, so as I was saying, we're doing Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City, the more faithful adaptations of the games as opposed to the Mila Jovovich ones, which, as I was trying to say, we may or may not cover. Renfield, by the way, I will add, is on the list of films we're going to do because we got that on DVD as well. I definitely really enjoyed this film, even though when it was released, I heard very mixed to negative things about it, but after it was released, it sort of quietened down, and because I hadn't seen much of it online, I just sort of went in with like basically a blind reaction per se.
It's not my cup of tea of film, but I didn't.
No, you enjoyed it, and there were points you were colouring while we were watching it, like you always do. And I was she's all coloured out now because usually she does it while we're recording. So she was actually paying attention to it and actually like listened to what was happening, because there have been some films we've watched even before we started reviewing you when you're just blanking them and you're like, yeah, it's all right, yeah, I don't mind it, yeah. So yeah, we'll get into the actual film now that we're past that. This film, written and directed by Johannes. I have put the famous line back in.
When he gets merch, that will be the first thing I will get him to do is T-shirt with the movie begins with, and then what is that one you keep saying that you keep hitting on the keyboard?
Page down.
Page down.
Because I've possibly got. Well, no, I won't get into that. Just a habit of what I do is I tap the keyboard or like the computer while I'm talking just to tick it off, and then I accidentally.
To make these things happen, you need to subscribe, watch, and build up a fan base.
I mean, may I add, we have just hit the funny number of 420. So thank you everyone for giving me a brief chuckle when I saw it. So yeah, thank you as well if you watched the last one of the Silver Special of Secret Life of Pets. That is like 4th now on the list, which is incredible for a film that I didn't think was going to be that popular.
I think for his anniversary, we'll do sequel Pets 2.
Well, we may even do it sooner, depending on
I'd
how
like to do
quickly
it.
we run out of films. Okay, we'll keep that aside for whenever that is. You've got it down on the calendar, haven't you? Yeah.
Not like we're gonna forget. I mean, Silver was a character.
Yeah, he definitely was, bless him. Silver, if you don't know, Will Add was our super senior cat until late last week. He is the cat in the thumbnail that represents Amelia, whereas of course I'm the fox mask. So yeah, Secret Life of Pets was the last episode. We'll do it in a year time or sooner if we run out of
They
films.
might do
You never know, they might.
Mm.
So anyway, let's actually do the film we're meant to be covering. So it's written and directed by Johannes Roberts, and unfortunately, it tries to adapt a bit too much of the original material because they don't pick a game to do. They pick the first two and try and put it together for one big story, which kind of can work, but I think there was just a bit too much. This came out in 2021. I don't think it's on streaming at the minute. I couldn't find it anywhere. But of course, DVD, we only got it for like a fiver, I think, or something. And to be fair, not bad for what we paid.
We got down
The sale rail.
because we got the Halloween trilogy for like 14.
Yes, little teaser of what we'll be doing. Halloween is in the list of entire franchises to be covered in the future. Halloween Ends, of course, you can find on our channel. We watched it day one, or at least when it was still in cinemas. So you can hear. I think we watched day one, recorded the same day, so there's a lot of hate towards that film in our fucking review. So yeah, we'll get on with it. And because she pointed it out, I have to say it now. Well, first off, spoilers. Go watch it, it's 2 years old. The movie begins with an orphanage where a girl awakens next to a boy to see another girl who is disfigured watching from the other side of the room before she scurries away. The girl heads upstairs in the orphanage where she finds a room with a teepee in. She calls out to the girl who was in the teepee. It's the same one who's disfigured. She's in there now. Before making her way in. The disfigured girl's name is Lisa Trevor. There's going to be a lot of this. This film, as I say, does a lot of fan service, and it works. It's really good. Like, the character design for Lisa Trevor, some other stuff later on we'll get into if the CGI is a bit iffy. But I think the practical effects used on Lisa is done really well. I think it's practical. I'm not sure. Forgive me if it isn't. But it is really good. And it's very faithful to the game. So yeah, her name is Lisa Trevor, and she writes on paper that she lives below. William Birkin, played by Neil McDonough, a big character actor in lots of, if I'm honest, not great movies. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, Desperate Housewives, 1922, Arrow, The Hitcher, Game Over Man. He was in Sonic, the first Sonic movie, if I remember correctly, as General something. I can't remember his name. We watched that film ages ago, but anyway, not important. And her brother, so yeah, William Birkin and her brother catch her before revealing the girl's name is Claire Redfield, and her brother is Chris. Of course, two characters from the games. Chris later in the series punches a boulder famously. To move it, he punches a boulder until it rolls out the way. Stupid as hell, and you can watch it on our channel, Resident Evil 5. Anyway, Claire, now much older, may I add, I didn't write it here, played by Kaya Scolodario. Forgive me, I'm terrible with names and pronunciation. You'll know that if you're watching after watching more of the reviews. She has been in Crawl, Maze Runner, and its sequel, Skins. This, of course,
That's where I know it from.
Skins, there you go.
Yeah, and I watched
You mistook her for young Ursula from the Little Mermaid reboot, or remake even. So yeah, she's in quite a lot. Awakens in a truck from what was a nightmare and a flashback. That was what that little scene of the orphanage was. The trucker, played by Pat Thornton, he isn't named, but he does show up a few times. Well, he's in quite a good bulk of this film. He is played by Pat Thornton, is giving her a ride alongside his dog to find Chris in Raccoon City. They suddenly hit someone in the road, who of course is a zombie, much like the game, causing them to suddenly stop. They get out to investigate, causing the trucker to panic, because obviously he's basically just hit and killed a woman. Except, however, the zombie awakens, and the two just don't notice her get up and leave. Weirdly, she doesn't attack them, despite being a zombie. She just sort of wander away. Unlike the game, where the truck driver gets bitten by the zombie, the dog runs out and licks the blood off the floor, as the woman, as I said, lurches away into the woods. Leon Kennedy, we get to meet now, played by Avon Jogia. I don't know the pronunciation. Again, there's a lot of that in this film, so forgive me. Most famous for Victorious, which is a very fucking strange mix-up. He was also in... what? Zombieland 2, there you go, he was in that as well. We may get round to doing that one day, who knows. No.
I didn't like.
Amelia is currently putting her colour and stuff away. She's a bit far away. She doesn't like it, is what she's saying. It's not picking it up. So I'm sorry about that. She's like on the other side of the room. He is a rookie cop, of course. He awakes in a hotel room, and later in a diner, he meets Albert Wesker. Totally not bad guy. If you've played the games, of course, he's basically the main bad guy in all of those. He's played by Tom Hopper, most famous for being in Umbrella Academy, I think that's the show. Game of Thrones as well. He tall, he big. He's buff for a fucking like Albert Wesker, who's not exactly built like a brick shithouse, but Tom Hopper's a big guy. So yeah, of course, he's known for his Umbrella Academy, famously. Ironically, considering that's called Umbrella Academy, and this is the company, and this is of course called Umbrella. Where was I? Jill Valentine, played by Hannah John Kamen. She is famous for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I didn't know that. That's new to me. Thunderbolts, Ready Player One. She's in a lot. The Tomb Raider movie. The more modern one, I should say. Ant-Man. Star Wars. Fucking hell, she's in a lot. I love doing that, because then you hear my live reaction of the stuff they're in, and I'm just like, oh. And Richard Eichen, played by Chad Rook. I don't know him from anything. I've never heard of this gentleman in my life. He is very far down the cast list. He is famous for nothing I've heard of. There you go. He was in the 100. He was in the 100. Chad Rook. Hang on, let me have a look. Sorry, random side note. Yeah, we're just looking. Him? Possibly? I don't know. I honestly can't tell. We're trying to look at pictures of him in the 100, and now we can't find him.
Oh!
Him?
Yeah, he
This dude.
One of the... They're basically prisoners that come down. They're criminals.
Hatch, his name is.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll get there in the end. There's quite a lot of cast you recognise. Well, you didn't know he was in it, but you do now. But now you recognise him now that you've seen him. Who are members of a special police team called STARS. Not Starsy the cat, or STARS. Of course, this is once again from the video game. If they do a sequel to this, and they adapt I just saw Red Dead Redemption on your thing. If they adapt the third one, that'd be cool to have Nemesis. He hunts down the Stars members. It's weird knowing all this knowledge and you have no idea what I'm. Another pair of cops, Marini and Dooley. Interesting names. Marini played by Sammy Azaro and Dooley Dylan Taylor. These cops are important, that's why I'm giving them names. And they make fun of Leon and tell Wesker and the others they are heading to Spencer Mansion. Wesker and his team leave as the diner's waitress's eye starts to bleed, which she plays off as normal for her. Leon's literally like, why don't you go to a doctor? And she's just like, I don't know. Well, it's fine, there's nothing to worry about. It can't be that bad. She will come up a couple more times, I haven't mentioned that. The trucker drops Claire off as his dog becomes more rabid and bites him on the hand. The dog, of course, as I explained to you, the virus can be transmitted through basically anything that drinks from the town's water supply. So the woman obviously drank the water, got infected. The dogs licked the blood up, which contained the virus. The dog's infected. So that's how that works. So yeah, bites him on the hand. Claire approaches a house belonging to Chris and finds nobody home, as a boy watches from the neighbouring house, and he waves before his mother closes the curtain. These people are clearly suffering from the virus because their hair's falling out. They're a bit gaunt, but it's much more obvious later on. Claire enters Chris's house by picking the fucking lock to the door, which he is shocked about and reminds her that he is a cop. She finds a picture of him and Birkin when they were like a recent image. Before Chris, who is now played by Robbie Amell. I know him from the Babysitter movies, which I fucking hate. Weirdly, I do not like them. He is also in... Oh, he was in a TV series recently that kept getting advertised anywhere on Amazon called Upload. He was in the fucking Scooby-Doo prequel. He was in this one, the shit one that changed all the cast. He was in that as Fred. Scooby-Doo cannot stay away from this fucking channel. Like, we've just done Scream that has Matthew Lillard in it after doing fucking Scooby-Doo 1 and 2. He's in The Witcher as well. Sorry, it's always weird when we see cast and I'm like, oh, they were in that. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, he interrupts her by coming down the stairs. She plays a tape made by a journalist named Ben Bertolucci, also from the game, played by Josh Cruddas, who believes the city has been infected by Umbrella Corp. Oh, hold on. Amelia's just seen something on the news. This could be big. You heard it here first, folks. Do I need to mute the fucking thing temporarily, or is it okay?
No, so I've just found out some very, very bad news. It's breaking news. Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, she's died.
Oh, right.
I saw it on Facebook.
Oh, you already know.
Yeah. That is going to be like a time capsule now to this episode, is that Sinead O'Connor died today when we were recording this.
No, she was a singer, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember Mum and Ron saying about it a lot, but I haven't heard any.
I've heard one, which is the one she's most famous for, called Nothing Compares to You, where it's like, well, can she copyright me if she's not alive?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you've heard of a song. I couldn't recognise them more. Yeah. I don't know if it's been revealed. But anyway, let's get back to the film. So yeah, Ben Bertolucci, played by Josh Cruddas, who believes the city has been infected by Umbrella. I don't know how he knows this information, and I don't think we ever find it, but he's just sort of there. Claire says he has gone missing. Sherry Birkin, played by Holly DeBarros. I thought she was the girl who was going to play Tiny Tina, but I was wrong. She's famous for this film and a film called Swept Up in Christmas. She is gassy tonight. We've had Pepsi. We're lazy and a pizza place that shall not be named but is well known because I don't want to get striked or claimed or some shit.
Why would you get claimed by
PH. Pornhub. We got pizza from Pornhub. We got it from Pizza House.
Wouldn't you get claimed for saying Pornhub?
Logic. Oh, we got a Pizza Hut. There you go. If I get claimed because I mentioned that, I'm gonna personally sue you. So yeah, Sherry Burke and Holly de Barros suddenly wakes up believing she has seen a monster as William and his wife Annette, played by Janet Porter, go to comfort her. William is disturbed by a phone call before a sudden siren causes them to suddenly evacuate. Chris leaves Claire behind to head to the local police station where he works, and the woman from next door writes Itchy Tasty on the window, which is also a thing from the game, on the window before her eye starts to bleed. The door suddenly swings open in the house, and when Claire investigates, she finds the son from next door hiding before the mother smashes through the window. Claire flees the house, but steals Chris's motorcycle and heads into the city. In the police station, Chief Irons, played by Donald Logue, he will forever be known to me as Harvey Bullock from Gotham. I don't know what else he's been in. He was in one of those Christmas horror films. He was in a TV show called Grounded for Life. Yeah, Gotham. Silent Night, that's it. He was in Blade as well. Fucking hell. He was in a film called Shark Bait, which looks like a knockoff of Shark Tale. A TV series, The Equalizer. The Reef. Why is that called Shark Bait, but then the picture says The Reef, and then that one says Reef 2, High Tide. Vikings. Oh, he's in a documentary about Danny Trejo. That's cool. He's in quite a lot of he was in Sons of Anarchy as well. So yeah, he's a big character actor, to say the least. But he will always be known as the guy from Gotham. He watches over the city. One thing they didn't want to, which I'm glad they didn't add about Chief Irons from the video game, he basically kidnaps Sherry. He doesn't do anything inappropriate, but he's basically an insane murderer who likes taxidermy. So there's a good, a rough idea of what he was planning on doing. Wesker and his team, that now includes Vickers, Brad Vickers, played by Nathan Dales, and Chris, are briefed by Irons as Leon joins the meeting. Irons yells at him to return to the front desk as Wesker receives a pager from an unknown person. I believe, as I said, spoilers at the top, Ada sent it. I think they're working for the same people because in the post-credits scene, Ada is speaking to him. Ada should have been in this film more, but she's just reserved for sequel bait. So Irons orders the team suit up in order to investigate Spencer Mansion and rescue Marini and Dooley, who were sent on their own. He sent 2 cops to a fucking crime scene. So yeah, that's a lot. I bet you can guess what happened to them. Wesker opens his locker, like in the game, of course. There's the big evidence room. To find a device that contains intel that tells him Raccoon City will be destroyed at 6 a.m. The Birkins almost hit Claire on her motorcycle, and William and Claire briefly recognise one another. And in another flashback, Claire is woken in the night by Birkin, who tells her she has a new family, but not Chris just yet. Later on, we find he was taking children to experiment on and kill, presumably for the virus, and I think Lisa was one of them. So he was trying to take her to be experimented on. In the present, the waitress emerges as emerges infected more than she was, as the now heavily infected truck driver with bright red eyes with blackened pupils. You said that was really cool. You really liked that effect.
Yeah, I did, and I do.
So he's badly infected. He is borderline zombie, but he's keeping it together. The truck charges towards RPD before flipping, crashing, and exploding. Doesn't wake Leon up. That entire truck blew up outside the building, and because he's got his headphones on, he just didn't hear it. Only awakening Leon when the now completely zombified trucker approaches absolutely covered and on fire in a practical stunt, which is cool. I always love practical fire stunts, except in the old films you can see that it's not the same actor and it's someone in a bodysuit. Famously, Nightmare on Elm Street. Da, 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 da. So yeah, he's only awoken when Irons appears and shoots the zombified trucker dead. Leon, this is finally a kill, by the way. We are a page through, and we finally have someone die, which is shocking. 'Cause that's a third of the review down. Leon extinguishes the corpse before locking the outside gates and front doors. Leon confronts Irons, who is frantically packing up to escape, and he follows Irons to the parking lot where he just gets in his car and fucks off, leaving Leon behind. The STARS team approaches the mansion in a chopper and find a police officer's vehicle overturned and covered in blood. They eventually land and find the vehicle empty as a zombified crow lands on the wheel before Jill shoots it. Very close to shooting, I think it was Chris or Albert in the head. He's right next to it. Icon finds a blood trail and the team follows it as more crows screech around them. However, we don't see any more. They arrive at the front doors of Spencer Mansion and make their way inside to find the missing cops. Wesker insists the group splits into pairs to find them. Considering that Chris played Fred at some point, it would have made sense if he went, let's split up and look for clues. Irons are stopped in a road by a military checkpoint where several civilians are fired upon by the army. He manages to barely escape as the soldiers are revealed to be Umbrella Security, who are attempting to contain the virus until the next day where it's going to be blown up. They look a lot like Hunk from the video game. They've got the gas mask, the helmets, you can't see their eyes. It's cool. They did such a good job with like all the fan service. It's just one thing that majorly bothers me is how Leon is just a laughing stock throughout this. He's a much better character in the games, but they just butchered him. So yeah, several infected arrive at the front gates of the RPD begging to be let in. They're not fully zombies yet, but all their hair's falling out, like how we saw the mother and the son earlier on. Irons returns to the RPD where he is met by the truckers, now completely zombified and like half-eaten looking dog. CGI'd, of course. That was one of the main criticisms people had was the CGI, and I do not blame them. It isn't great, but it's passable. You can excuse it in exchange for the like practical effects, because the practical effects are like gorgeous. I love practical is always better than computer generated. It just looks more real. If you actually have something gushing blood out as opposed to someone having to pretend there is, it just makes it more believable, and CGI blood and stuff always looks off. So yeah, Irons shoots frantically at it with his revolver, failing to hit it, and the dog sneaks up on him, but of course because he fired his gun too much, it's now out of ammo. Claire, however, manages to somehow get in and bashes the dog's head in with a fire extinguisher as Leon shows up as well. He clearly heard the gunshots. Couldn't hear a truck explode outside, but can hear gunshots on the other side of a building. More infected are at the gates, including the waitress now, as the trio watches from within. Back at the mansion, Chris and Aiken find the lab coat zombie. It's the famous zombie from the original Resident Evil game who turns around. It's the first ever zombie. It's really famous. He is eating Marini, who's on the ground, still alive. Still alive. It's important for the show. The two of them shoot it dead and then try and help Marini. Aiken goes upstairs while Chris stays with him, who quickly bleeds out and dies from his wounds because he got bitten on the neck. So that's pretty easy to die from. Aiken finds Dooley's discarded pistol. You ain't going to understand any of this, but it's a Beretta pistol, or the Samurai, I think it's the Samurai Edge model that they use in the games, judging by the colour and the grip. So I think that was a reference to that. As zombies attack him and Chris. Icon backs up from the zombies, however, he backs into a wall and is quickly overwhelmed and devoured. It's disgusting. Well, it's not disgusting. You don't see much. They just like dogpile him. It's just like his head is sticking out. Chris escapes into the basement, and Vickers, who is still at the chopper playing Snake on the shitty little phone he's got, is ambushed, of course. Joel and Wesker use a piano to open the secret door that he got the code from on his little doodad that he's still got with him. I think that's also a puzzle from Resident Evil 1. As I say, this film likes its fan service. No. Vickers, who is now flying the helicopter despite being attacked, crashes into the building before it explodes and kills him. In the game, Vickers doesn't die like that. He is ambushed outside of the police station by a zombie and then is found as a zombie later on. In reality, I think a news helicopter crashes into the police station, not the house. Back in the RPD, they make it into the armory and load up, where they hear someone crying out for help. Leon heads into the holding cells and he finds, of course, Ben Bertolucci in a cell with a man who is sick. Gee, I wonder why he's sick and what's wrong with him. I do hope he's not infected. Leon gets too close to the cell like a moron, and Ben takes his gun and holds him at gunpoint to let him out. The man in the cell arises as a zombie, of course. Who would have guessed? And as Leon tries to
Sorry.
Bless you. And as Leon tries to open the cell, Ben is attacked and has his throat ripped out. Again, this is practical because all the blood is physically running down his shirt. It just looks so much better. The zombie approaches Leon, but Claire's managed just to shoot it, solemnly looking at Ben's corpse as she does. However, the zombie does get back up, and Leon just shoots it about 8 times. It does kill it. I don't know why I bother going into all this detail, because this ain't even going to be best kill, worst kill. A gunshot kill on a zombie is not going to be best kill. Irons frantically tries to contact Vickers in order to get him to lift everyone out to escape. Vickers obviously does not respond because he is a crisp. Here's a burger in that fucking helicopter wreckage. As Wesker and Jill recover from the crash in the mansion. Wesker recovers his doodah and looks through the doorway that he opened, finding a tunnel. Wesker tells Jill that he is working for a rival of Umbrella, and she tries to persuade him as a zombie attack, who they promptly shoot. No idea where that zombie came from. He just appears behind Jill, because it looks like Wesker's going to shoot her, but of course he shoots the zombie, who's wearing an umbrella uniform. So more infected press at the gate, actually managing to break through and into the RPD. The gang obviously all retreats. Several zombies follow and are killed as they flee to the loading dock to escape, where the 3 of them eventually make it to the orphanage that the Redfields grew up from the intro. Heading inside, Leon notices the light swaying above them and looks to see Lisa, who motions for him to be silent. Claire runs over, obviously wondering what the hell's going on, and Lisa has disappeared, just as Irons is grabbed from the ceiling by one elongated limb. Where they look up and find his body being chewed on before it suddenly drops to the floor, alongside a fucking liquor. Oh, the liquor looks good. It looks good for the CGI still, but it did look good, so I'll give them that. And as you thought it was a dog, but when I told you that it mutated from a person, shook. I mean, it's brain that's hanging out. It's brain that's just sat there. She wasn't literally shook. She wasn't like trembling in fear. Lisa saves them in time, managing to overpower it and splits his head in half. Basically reaches into his mouth and just opens it up like a box. Lisa takes them through the orphanage, where she gives Claire a set of keys leading to a secret elevator. These are the keys, of course, from the game. Got like clubs, spades, hearts, diamonds, which pointless of them to do that because they literally use the key to open the elevator and you never see them again. But of course, in the games, you open all the doors around the RPD and the Spencer Mansion using that. So in the mansion, Chris is left in a dark. This scene I did really enjoy because he goes into this area that's unlit and only has a torch on his gun. So zombies ambush him and knock the torch out. So he's in complete darkness, and we only see what's going on when he shoots zombies with his gun. When he tries to hide from the zombies in the dark, he uses his lighter and manages to spot a now zombified Dooley, who made his return. I had to put that because it's important because he's a character and he's dead. However, he is rescued by Jill, who shoots Dooley, and a number of zombies dead as well. In a secret room, Leon and Claire watch a tape of the Ashford twins, who are also from the games, but are just left to sequel bait again. Not in a post-credit scene or anything, just a little teaser here. And they find notes of experiments on the orphans, with most of them dead, as mentioned earlier. I'm just going to have a drink because I've got a headache. Usually do when we're recording these. I hate the sound of my own voice, which is why as soon as I accidentally leave the volume on while I'm editing, and I go I always feel like it sounds worse than it does. So yeah, the Birkin family are in the lab when Wesker arrives to collect the G-virus samples, which, as I had to explain to you, the T-virus and the G-virus are different things. T-virus is what infected everyone else, and the G-virus, we'll find out what that does. William grabs a hidden gun, shooting Wesker, but he is shot in return. Annette grabs the case and William's gun, but Wesker shoots her in the head when she goes to shoot him as Sherry hides. So yeah, Annette is dead. Wesker is not dead yet, because we can put him on the list as dead because he does technically die. William, as we find out, has injected himself with the G virus samples. So as a result, Wesker just shoots him several more times. And as Wesker goes to leave, Jill shoots him as Chris comforts Sherry. Wesker apologizes and tells them about a train, as he does, as I say, die on the ground. William reanimates as the others leave, and he mutates as he pursues them. Chris lets Sherry and Jill head onwards as he stays behind to fight Birkin alone. While William just goes fucking mental and starts talking shit to him while he's looking for him. I forgot to say, but after he injected himself, he did die. I think he did die, but because of the virus, he could come back. Birkin finds him and overpowers him, but Claire shoots him several times, but not enough to kill him, as Chris stops her from shooting him in order to shoot William himself. He shoots his eye out, I think. He blows like half his face off. Mm-hmm. Because later on, as we're about to get into, the giant mutated form of him has his head on and half of his face is like missing. So yeah, this once again kills William, but as you'll hear, the virus is pretty much unstoppable until later on. So the two are disturbed by Leo, and all of them run to the Leon, not Leo. I put Leo on there, but it's Leon. And all of them run to the train as William once more begins to reanimate. They start the train and begin to leave Raccoon City behind as the city plus Spencer Mansion begins to be destroyed as part of their containment. Because Umbrella has plans, because they are evil. So the train is derailed by what seems like the explosions happening from within the tunnel of the city and Spencer Mansion. However, a now massively mutated Birkin rips open the train and grabs Claire. However, she manages to stab him in his half face that's left over from when he got his face blown off. and frees herself. Leon suddenly emerges with a missile launcher and shoots William, just killing him. That's it for him, which we will talk about at the end. The shockwave from the explosion of Raccoon City kills a random cow on the surface, which you did not like.
No, I felt
The shockwave just blew a cow away. It's like, why? What was the point? The group walk out of the tunnel to daylight as the movie ends. However, in a mid-credit scene, Wesker awakes. Wesker has been experimented on off-screen by, presumably, Umbrella, in order to make him a super bad guy for the sequel, if that ever comes, which we will cover. So yeah, Wesker awakes in a body bag, unable to see. Ada Wong, as mentioned earlier, played by Lily Gao, which I believe may have been the original voice actress. Yeah, she portrayed Ada Wong in the remake of Resident Evil 4 and in the... In that case, she's not the original voice actress. I apologise. So Ada Wong arrives and gives him his trademark sunglasses, allowing him to see once more, and the movie ends. So there we go. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. Excuse me, is crossed off the list. What are your thoughts?
As I say, I like it, I don't hate it, but it's not my cup of tea.
It's like going on a t-shirt as well, because you say that with a lot of things. You're like, it weren't my cup of tea, but I liked it. Anything you want to really talk about other than me like?
I mean, the effects were...
So,
yeah.
I think it would have helped if you had played any of the games or gameplay of it. But so yeah, I think, as mentioned at the start, there's a bit too much shoved into the film that it does sort of feel a bit rushed.
As I say, I haven't played the game, so I can't really form an opinion.
Yeah. But I think they did a good job of having an adaptation that isn't confusing. Because you could still understand the film without playing the game.
Yeah.
But there's a lot where what I was pointing out and you were just like, I have no idea what you were. Yeah, I think the set design or the locations they found for filming were spot on, especially for the mansion and the RPD. I think the casting was mostly okay. I think everyone did an okay job of what they had. I did like Tom Hopper as Albert Wesker, and I think Neil McDonough did all right with William Birkin. Of course, we had Ada Wong at the end. We can't really judge her for that. It's just I just don't like what they did with Leon. Leon's character was butchered because they just made fun of him for half the film, and he didn't have enough screen time. There was a lot of characters thrown in, so no one could really have any two standing out scenes. But I still really enjoyed it. I still think it was a solid effort, despite what everyone said when it first came out. I think everyone just sort of was ready for a film that was faithful, which it is, but they sort of overhyped themselves. They boarded the hype train, and as a result, unfortunately, it just wasn't what they wanted. Their expectations was just a bit too much. So, of course, we get to best kill, worst kill. We'll start off with our best kill. We both agreed on the trucker. There's a lot of gory kills, but his whole infection process being shown, like the big truck explosion, and the fact he walked into the police station on fire was really cool. Even if technically his death was just a bullet, like all the lead up to it, I think definitely made it stand out. We also agreed worst kill for William Birkin. He deserved a lot worse for the fucking like crimes he did when he was younger, and also the fact he just killed an entire town full of people, just for science, I guess. So yeah, those were our thoughts. It's Amelia's turn at the end of this week. Who knows what she'll pick? We'll wait and see, of course. I've been your host, Verbal Midnight 8. You can find both of our social links in the description. Well, you can find Amelia's channel linked in the description in the link tree. Anything you want to plug? No? Okay, fair enough. Usually she does, but I think I did it for her this time. So yeah, thank you ever so much for listening, and we'll see you later in the week.